What causes perhaps all, if not a great amount of the suffering in the world? You may think, is it, poverty? Is it, starvation? Is it lack of safety? It's actually desire. Desire and fear. Because desire and fear are really the same. It's like a coin. On one side is desire and the other side is fear. And that's really where most, if not all, the suffering in our world comes from. So let me explain what I mean by desire and fear. As we go through life, we want certain things. We may want a spouse. We may want a job. We may want a certain amount of income. And if we think if we have those things, all will be well. And the flip side of that is when we get something, we say, I don't want to lose that, or I don't want that bad thing to happen. I have a spouse, I don't want to lose my spouse. I don't want an illness to come. I don't want my job to be taken away from me. So what happens is in life, we grasp things. I really, really want this, and if I get this, I'll be happy. Or we're afraid of things. Oh, I hope this never happens. If this happens, I will suffer. Or when you get things, you say, please don't take this away, or I will suffer. And let me use an example to illustrate what I mean. Let's say your passion, your goal in life is to find the perfect mate, the person that you can spend your life with, and you know if you find that person, all will be well. So in the interim of looking for your mate, you find that you're suffering because you don't have that person yet. You're waiting, someday I'll find my mate, and then someday I'll be happy and whole and happy, and everything will go well. But until that day happens, you're going to suffer. So that's where the desire causes you suffering, because you don't have something, you're lacking, and you want something. Now let's say you find your mate, and you really find someone who's wonderful. Well, that mate can cheat on you. That mate can die. That mate can leave. That person that you love, your soulmate, can do so many different things that is in their control or out of their control. But that relationship may change. And even if you're with them for 20, 30, 40 years, at some point, something is going to change. So fear can kick in. I'm afraid of losing them. What if they leave? I have this boyfriend who I really love, but I'm always afraid. I'm fearful. So the flip side of desire is fear. They're really kind of the same thing, but they're both there, and they cause us suffering. So why do we do that? What happens in us? We do that because we want, and we think if externally I have something, I'll be well if I get it. And the reality of it is, one thing in life is very much guaranteed, is what's called impermanence. Life is always changing. Nothing really stays the same. And because life is changing, if you try to grasp that which is changing, you cannot. I mean, if you put your hands in a river and try to, take a chunk of the river out, the water will just fall out of your hands. You can flow with the river, you can be present with the river, but if you try to stay in one place, the river pushes against you and it causes you suffering. So the same way in life. If you flow with life and saying, I would like to find a soulmate, I would like to have a really good job, but right now, what do I have? Maybe I have a nice relationship. Maybe I have some really good friends. And if you can focus on that and be 100% present with what's happening right here, right now, goals are good and working toward things are great, but be present with what's here right now. What you'll find is that suffering that so many people experience starts dissipating because you're not wishing things were being different. You're not wanting things to be what they aren't. You're saying, I am going to accept what is. Right now, I am not with my soulmate. I'm okay, because there's a lot of other beautiful things that are happening. And an analogy I love to use, I learned it from someone else. He talks about you go to a symphony, and then when you get to the symphony, there's about 100 instruments there, but you only like the orchestra. You only like, the drummers. You only like them. And when you get there, the drummers aren't playing. The drumming isn't there, and you're just so disappointed, you're upset. But what you're missing out is there's a 99 other orchestra people playing. And what you could focus on is all the other wonderful people playing. But if you want one thing, you're going to suffer. If you're glad of lots of things, even though one thing is missing, you won't suffer. So right now, if you don't have a job, if you don't have the dream job, but you have a good relationship with your spouse, you have great kids, you have great health, focus on those things. Be present with what you do have. Work towards changing what you don't have, but love and embrace most of the time what you do have. And what you'll find is suffering will dissipate. And what will arise is spontaneous happiness, peace.